On today's episode of the pod, we start a new journey into a segment going through each and every belt, what a black belt expects to see at those belts, and what a blue belt either went through or is currently going through at those belts.
You are the nail. What kind of nail are you?
As usual, more listener questions.
Move, bitch. Get out the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the BJJ Balance Podcast. My name is Kenny. This is episode 97. We are here today with Mr. Oast Nation himself, Matthew Vega, 1T, Soft T, a man of many monikers. What's going on, brother?
Soft T in the name, high T in life. Your boy, on my levels is about probably about 1,200 right now. Probably just walking around 1,200. What was life before TRT, Kenny? What was life for you?
How much before? Just before?
Yeah, like before you knew you needed it.
Oh, I knew for years, bro.
What was?
So just briefly, I went to a doctor 2 years before I started TRT because I felt like my levels were fucked. And the doctor, I was like, I want a full blood panel. So this is for Kaiser. Kaiser, if you live on the West Coast and you have Kaiser, you know Kaiser just sucks in general. It's just, but I don't have another option for insurance. So I went and had my full blood panel done. I go back in for a follow-up visit with the doctor. He proceeds to tell me, oh, your levels are at 340. And I'm like, okay, that sounds pretty low. And he goes, well, the average for okay levels for your age is 320 to 760. So you're still low average, but you're still average. And I'm like, well, 320 to 760 sounds like a pretty vast range. You know what I mean? And so I was like deflated. Like I was like, fuck, man. Like I really feel like I need this. And they're telling me no. So a year later, I went to like a specific men's health clinic that specializes in that kind of thing. And I pay out of pocket for this. It's not something that the doctors prescribed for me or my primary care doctor. And they tested my levels. And like, that was a year later, I was at fucking 105, dude. And I was like, it was bad. It was really bad.
So after sports, I did the same thing. After sports, I was like 20 and I was like, I want to be jacked out of my damn mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the biggest bodybuilder there ever was in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, teach me, dude. And he's like, do you want to know how to really do it? And I said, yes, I want to. And so I started steroids, legit stuff, like legit, don't tell mom about it steroids.
Like Tren and all that
Tren and Deca. I think I even freaking Winstrol. I fucked with Equipoise, some real bad stuff, dude.
Yeah.
And the reason I got off the juice was because I started Googling Speedos for
Are you serious?
bodybuilding competitions. I was like, hey, dude, we gotta calm this out. This is getting out of hand. And so I was like, no banana hammocks for me. And then so I said, we're done. And then because I got into lifting after a brief attempt at MMA and I blew my knee out real bad. So I was like, I'm just gonna get super jacked. And then I got super jacked and I started getting like super like looking into body oils and tanning beds and freaking Speedos. And I was like, this is not the way. This is not the way to go. So I immediately stopped. And then after that, tanked my T. My T went straight to the shitter. And I was just
absolutely destroyed your endocrine system.
Bro, I was with my wife. I was dating my wife for the first time. And I was like, this is brand new chick. There ain't nothing better than that. It's like a new car smell. Right. And I could not. I was just, nothing was there, bro. I had like no drive.
Really?
You had to really cold. You could not cold start this engine. I'll tell you that. Warm it up, dude. And I went and got my levels tested and I was like 100, bro, like 112.
Damn.
And that was me at like 26. So then I got a TRT then.
Oh, wow.
I got on really tanked
So
me,
you've
dude.
been on it
really
for a
tanked me
while.
bad. Yeah, I did like 5 years, and then it tanked me. I did like 3 cycles in 5 years. Then it really tanked me, right? So after that, I
No, I mean you've been on
immediately-
TRT for a while.
no, because then once I got off it, when I got on TRT, it kind of brought me back. Right?
Oh, got it. Like kind of
And
jump
so
started
like it completely tanked me so bad. The real bad stuff completely tanked me so bad that it killed everything. So then I got me on TRT to kind of help me build up again. And then once I got to like 27, 28, I was feeling good again. Everything was back to normal. And so I stopped because I needed, and then of course made some kids and everything was great. And then by the time I got to like 2 years ago, again, like 38, I was just like, my social media is what was driving me to train. I had like no desire anymore to train. It's like, I got to go there. I got to put content out. And you know what I mean? I don't want to be a fraud. And so like I went to, I showed up to I just show up and then I went and tested my levels. Going to get 160 or 158 or something like that. That was when I got tested. So I've been on it ever since. Your boy likes training again. Everything is good. So life is great on this side, but yeah, it was really, really, TRT, man, been a game changer. I don't think I'll ever get off it now.
Did you ever have any, like there's a myriad of side effects from having low testosterone and obviously it's, your training, your recovery and things like that. But did you ever have any mental issues? Like I was starting to have mental, like bad.
I heard, so this might sound bad to you, Kenny, but I heard that some of the real jacked guys, this is bro science, the real jacked guy told me about mood swings with TRT or even steroids. He said, whatever you are, it will accelerate.
Right.
If you are if you're balding, you will bald.
Yeah.
If you got acne, you'll have a ton. If you're a piece of shit, you'll be a real piece of shit. So there was times where I would, one time I like got real angry at my brother and I was like, dude, all right, dude, I'm like my levels are way too high right now. That wasn't on TRT. On TRT, I haven't had any side effects. You?
No, I'm saying beforehand. Like when I had low testosterone, my mental was trash, bro. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Where I was like, I was having some thoughts that like, that's never been my personality type. And I was like, why now? Why at 39 am I thinking like this kind of shit, And and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. And then when I went and got my levels tested and they told me what I was at, then the lady starts running through the checklist. She's just like, so do you have fatigue, poor recovery? And I'm like, check. And then she's like mental, like you have depression? Do you feel like you want to self-harm? Like not that you would do it, but like, have you had those thoughts? And I was like, absolutely. And I've never had those thoughts. I've never.
That's crazy.
And that's why when I got on it and my mood instantly got better, like, cause even my wife would ask questions. She would just kind of like, I look at me around the house. She's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, like, I think so, cause it comes on so subtly that you don't really realize. Right. It's not like you're great. And then all of a sudden you're depressed the next day. And it's like, wow, my levels must be low. It's like, it slowly comes on and ramps up where it feels like a natural thing. And I think a lot of guys just feel like, oh, I'm getting old. They miss the glory days, things like that. I think that the depression forms differently in different people and they don't realize that like, you don't have to go through that. That's literally your body telling you that like you're missing an essential hormone that you've had your whole life. And there's no need with modern science that you should have to go through that. You know what I mean?
It really makes you think like how much, suicide is caused because of,
right,
something internal like a low testosterone or, you know what I mean? I know, of course, there's stuff that happened with traumatic experiences can bring traumatic results, but it's got to be something to that for sure. I wasn't depressed. I was just extremely tired, bro, and lazy.
Yeah, no, I was the same way. I was the same. I'd get home from work and I would just sit there and it'd be 4:00 in the afternoon. And I would have no drive, no energy to do anything. Not to go for a walk with my family, not to work on like a project at the house, like nothing. I would just want to sit on the couch and melt into the couch and just be a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah. What I say is you're like Click. You ever seen the movie Click with Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
When he's just like, when he's fast forwarding through shit and he's just like, just going through it. You do everything. I only did things because I had to. I never did anything because I wanted to.
Yeah.
That was me low T.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, a game changer for, I mean, I think it's been a game changer for both of us.
Oh, for sure.
I would not have drive to do as much content as we do on here.
Right.
Let's add a segment. I'm like, dude, let's just post a pod.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now we're like, I mean, eye on the prize, right? I wouldn't have that. Yeah. Serious game here. What do we got on dock today?
We're going to start a new series, Matt. This is probably going to run us through the end of the year. Okay. And it's not going to be every week. It's going to be about every other week, but this is going to be the first episode that we do it. This will probably take us into the beginning of next year, to be honest with you, which I'm fine with. But we're going to build this series. I noticed that a lot of people like belt-specific content. I think a lot of our audience is white belt, blue belt. We've definitely got purples, browns, blacks, etc. But a lot of our audience is white belt, blue belt, which is the majority of what jiu-jitsu practitioners are. You know what I mean? Like, as a whole, pieces of the pie. There's more white and blue belt pieces of pie. So the belt series is kind of going to be a discussion between a black belt and a blue belt. And we're going to go through the belts. There will be about 3 episodes per belt. And we're going to discuss, what a black belt looks for in a white belt, what you should be working on, what you should be focusing on, and we're talking about average white belt, not your accelerated, like I was a D1 wrestler, or I'm just a phenomenal athlete with a natural gifted ability to be a good grappler, or that kind of a thing. And then I'm going to give because I'm not so far removed from white belt at this point, whereas you were a white belt, 9 years ago?
I was a white belt. Yeah, no, longer, 9, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. So it's like,
yeah,
you're a little more far removed from it. So you've got the experienced black belt, and I've got I'm not too far removed from white belt that I can recall what it felt like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? And, you're going to say, these are the things that I would want to see. And I'm going to kind of respond like, okay, I remember feeling that, or this, or yeah, I kind of had that, that kind of a thing. I'm just going to kind of relate to it.
Okay.
And hopefully the white belts that are listening, or the blue belts that are listening, can kind of reminisce on this, or even the higher belts and whatnot. But the white belt should be able to kind of take something from this. Like, sometimes maybe you're being too hard on yourself. Maybe you're focusing on the wrong things. Maybe you're putting your energy and your drive into the wrong things. Maybe you're getting mad because you can't submit anybody, and you see other white belts doing it, but like you can't compare yourself to other people in that regard. Like, you really just got to, everybody's jiu-jitsu journey is their own journey. So, what from a black belt, what black belts are looking for to get you to the next level? What are the things? So basically what we're looking at, today's theme or topic is going to be like day 1, surviving jiu-jitsu. So I want to hear like your ideas on survival skills and positional hierarchy and attending class, as far as, culture and things like that, and ego and the things outside of just the skill, but also the mindset and the mentality of like when you're walking into class, like how you should be preparing yourself for what you're about to encounter, how to learn. Things like
you
that.
Just signed up for jiu-jitsu. You start class on Monday. Okay. You're like, oh, well, tomorrow's my first day. Well, we should be hydrating. We should be hydrated. You need to have water. You need to have sandals of some sort, because you're not going to, what the biggest 3 big mistakes that you never want to do is you never want to step on the mat on your shoes on accident. You never want to forget having water with you. Okay. And then having trouble fighting your socks and your shoes to get out, like wear sandals. Okay. Wear sandals. So you just slide them off. You can step on the mat. And then when you get off the chain, you step back on your shoes. You can stand on your shoes like that. That is basic 101. You're not going to know what to do. So you're not going to see when you start class, you don't know what the class exists of. So you're not going to know, like, you're not going to know when, like, it's like when you start running and you don't know where the finish line is. that could be extra tiring for you because you don't know when to push it, when to gas it, when to gun it. And so you don't know when the end is. So you don't know the rhythm of the class. So just pace yourself. Usually a class provides of a warm up no longer than 15 minutes. The smaller your instructor is, probably the crazier the warm up is. Technique, situational sparring, and then sparring if your professor allows you to do that. There is no shame in your first day of being like, I'm tired, I need to sit out. A good professor will say, go take a break if you're tired. And you don't look bad. No one thinks ill of you. No one thinks bad of you if you decide to take a break on your first day of jiu-jitsu. On one side, if you get tired on your first month of jiu-jitsu, no one cares. Your first 2 months, you are a white belt. You are greener than goose shit. We just want you to show that you can be, that you're in the fight. You're not going to win the fight, but we just want you to say like, hey, I came back the next day. Hey, I'm sore. I'm beat up. I'm back again. Like, that's it. We're working for that first stripe. And what does that first stripe entail? That first stripe entails that you're committed to learning. That's what the first stripe is. And the first stripe is, hey, I am not a new booty anymore. I am here. I am ready to go. I am the guy who I'm part of the team now because, so like for your first day, you're not going to know how to tie your belt. It's going to be embarrassing. You're going to walk in, I don't know how to tie it. Some higher belt's going to tie your belt for you. It's just what's going to happen unless you YouTube it and practice at home, but don't waste your time sweating those little details. Just bring water and, plan on being tired, plan on being gassed, take your selfie afterwards. Like, dude, you did it. Like, you should be commended for trying, not punished for failing, because you will fail.
A couple of things, just to touch on what Matt said. So absolutely get some slides, get some sandals, because the last thing you want to do is have to pee or puke in your first class and jump off the mat and run into that bathroom barefoot. That is gross because you're coming right back onto the mat. And if you went into the bathroom barefoot and you come into the mat barefoot, that's fucking disgusting. So don't do that. Get some slides, get some sandals. I completely agree with the hydration and sitting out if you're tired. There's no honor in puking your first class of jiu-jitsu. It's not like a rite of passage or anything like that. Guys do it all the time. You're going to push yourself. I know that some people, when they push themselves too hard, it will be discouraging and they won't come back because they feel like they got their ass kicked. And the whole point of jiu-jitsu is not, your first couple of weeks is not to get your ass kicked. It's to warm you up to the sport. The other thing that I would say, and this is something that really plagued me in the beginning of my jiu-jitsu journey, was when I started my jiu-jitsu journey, leg locks, this is 2017, leg locks were like the thing. That was like beginning of the Danaher Death Squad starting to take over, winning EBIs. And Eddie Cummings was the man. He was the leg locker. That was the guy that everybody looked to. Gordon Ryan was still a young guy and not jacked and was like 180 pounds. You know what I mean? Like Eddie Cummings was the guy that Gordon Ryan looked up to at that time. You know what I mean? Like that was the motherfucker. So because that leg lock revolution was just starting out, like the school that I was starting at was a new school, and that's kind of what they dove right into. Well, I didn't have a jiu-jitsu base at all. I had no idea of the concept of like pressure or control. I didn't know what side control was. I couldn't tell you how to get the mount. I knew I didn't want my back taken, but couldn't tell you how to prevent it. So, but within the first couple of months, I could heel hook people. You know what I mean? Like I could straight ankle lock pretty fucking well. Like I knew single leg X pretty decent, but I went to a competition where you can't heel hook as a white belt, and it was a no-gi competition. It was a sub-only comp. And it didn't do me any good because I couldn't use the move that I had learned. I needed to focus on basic jiu-jitsu, and I didn't ever learn that. So what I'm getting at is if your school offers some sort of a introduction class or a fundamentals class, like if you have to choose a day to go to and you have limited days to train, go fundamentals first. Like learn the basics of jiu-jitsu. And then if you have the option to train more than that, by all means, jump into the regular, the intermediate or advanced classes or whatever. Because I know some schools will break down beginner, intermediate, advanced. Most will allow white belts to go to any or all of them, or any belt to go to any or all of them. It's just letting you know this is the type of technique you're going to be learning in this class. So
I agree.
If you have a fundamentals class, by all means, make that your priority. And
you're going to get obsessed with jiu-jitsu. You're going to get obsessed with the game, and you're going to want to do stuff you see people do. You're going to see reels. You're going to save every reel, you're going to be pooping, looking up YouTube clips of all this crazy stuff. And like Kenny was just saying, the fun stuff is advanced. And if you can't tie your shoes, jiu-jitsu is like tying your shoes. Okay. You start off with 2 laces. We're 5 years old. We're white belts. We know how to tie our shoes. We know the concept of it. We go around, we pull it through, we make a loop, we go around. Oh, missed it. Oh, we gather the arm, we push the face, we go to S mount, we go for the arm bar, we missed it. The more and more you do it, you can just tie after a while. We get it. Now we can start working on different kind of knots, right? We can different styles. We can go around behind the ankle and tie it, or whatever. That's how jiu-jitsu is. If you start just doing advanced knots off the beginning because you're seeing something on the internet, you're not going to know how to do the basic stuff. And if you don't know the basic stuff, you should be focusing on your breathing as a white belt. Mm-hmm. You should be focusing on your pace. You should be downloading what real danger is. Because a lot of times at white belt, you will tap to something and it's not even there yet because you're not sure if it is or not yet. You're just fear of getting injured. As you develop, as you get stripes on your belt, you will start to realize, hey, I've been here before. He doesn't have anything yet. I know what he's trying to get. Once you start thinking like, I know what he's trying to get right now because he subbed me 4 times last week with it. I know what he's trying to do. I'm not in danger yet. Now you're thinking in your roles. Now you've downloaded information, and this is why you've started to gain tape on your belt, because you're not panicking early. You've learned how to breathe. You're getting through it. That is the most important. The way you develop that is by learning the basics first. Guard passing, pressure, stamina, wearing pressure, wearing weight, stopping someone from guard passing, hip escaping, all these drills you do before class, front rolling, Granby rolling, getting your guard back, hip escape, get your half guard back.
Right.
Technical stand up, come back up top. There's all this stuff is necessary to develop yourself into a better grappler when you do get to blue, purple, and so on.
I think the key that a lot of guys kind of overlook, and this is something that whenever I see, I'm only a blue belt, so I try not to coach dudes on technique, but I will talk to them about like mindset when I see like a new white belt start, especially if he's an older guy and whatnot. You can tell he really wants to give this a shot, but then you see him being spazzy and whatnot, and I'll kind of like, if I happen to be sitting on the wall next to him, we'll be like, hey man, like slow down. I think the difference between fight or flight is patience. And in jiu-jitsu, you're going to be, in the beginning of your jiu-jitsu journey, you're going to be living in a constant state of flight. But you think you're fighting. You're not. You're scrambling, trying to survive. And I think a lot of that can be fixed by simply slowing down, understanding basic positions, when you're in danger, when you're not, like you just spoke about. Like, hey, I'm not in danger of getting tapped right now. This guy's on top of me and it sucks. Maybe you got some claustrophobia to get over, something like that. But like, hey, yeah. Even if Matt's on me, like his pressure sucks. I can try to get to a position where I can kind of alleviate some of his chest-to-chest pressure so he's not crushing my lungs, and create some frames.
You can try.
Yeah, I can try. And I can try to create some frames to buy myself some time to breathe. That's the only thing that you should be focusing on. Not the only thing, but that's one of the main things you should be focusing on at the beginning of your white belt journey is learning how to breathe when there's someone on top of you. And if you can learn how to do that, and now you have time to think. The game of pressure, what's so beautiful about it, and this is something that I will completely attribute to having Matt as a friend.
Trying to get me hard, bro?
Yeah. Get real gay here. Is when you are in the top position and you're the person that's applying pressure, the most beautiful part of it is that I might not even be attacking you yet, but I'm crushing you so well that all you can think about is, oh my God, this fucking sucks. I can't breathe. That's all your whole everything, every thought in your head is about how you can't breathe and how you want to breathe. Not about the fact that I just pulled my lapel out and wove it over your arm behind your head and I'm going for a ninja choke. You didn't even see that because you're so concerned about the fact that you cannot breathe right now that you didn't even see the fact that I'm about to permanently take your breath.
Or you're like, just take the ninja choke. I don't want this no more.
Right.
I don't want to be a bitch. I don't want to be a bitch and tap the pressure.
Right. Or they might turn away from you too and give you their back or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of pressure. And if you are a white belt, you don't even realize what they're doing to you. And they're using pressure just to break you mentally. And every other thought you had about defending goes out the fucking window. So if you can learn to slow down, to build some frames, and then you have an opportunity to think, I'm not being crushed anymore. Okay, where am I at? Okay, what limbs are free? Like I'm trying to build a sweep in my head. I don't know what the sweeps are called because I'm a white belt. I don't know what any of these moves are called. I do know that if I can isolate a leg and an arm on the same side, I've got a good shot at shifting his weight that way and sweeping him. Can I grab? Can I sneak a leg over and trap his leg? Can I overhook and trap his arm? Now he can't base. Okay, I've got something here. Can I shift it? Can I shimmy and can I shake and shift his weight enough to where I can bridge and shift him over? Boom, you just landed a sweep. You don't even know what it's called, but you did it, but you only had that opportunity because you were able to create enough space and create good enough frames to be able to think and breathe for just a moment to try to figure something out. But if you don't have that, you've got nothing. You're just getting crushed and you're thinking about how bad it sucks before you get submitted.
Look, I make a lot of jokes about the Cuck Wall. That's what I talk about. Get off the Cuck Wall. As a white belt, you're supposed to be there. You're supposed to be there. If you can avoid it, great. As you develop into it, I would love for you to build your cardio where by the time you're hitting your blue belt, you're not sitting rounds out anymore. And even high belts, hit that wall. Your boy, look at it. Even though I invented it, doesn't mean I ain't ever sat on it. Okay. Because I have, believe me. But take your breaks. That's fine. There's unwritten rules of like asking other people to roll or higher belts to roll. Personally, myself as a big guy, it's hard enough for me to find people who want to roll with me that I don't usually turn people down. I do know the littler, darker belts don't like that. And that's freaking stupid. It should only attain to black belts. You should not ask a black belt to roll unless they ask you to roll. I am not that type of black belt. You ask me to roll. If I'm feeling up to it, I'm rolling. That's just fine. I don't care. But say you're bigger, because I know I have a lot of followers that are bigger ultras, right? Bigger ultra white belts. You got to find your smoke, boys. Because they're not going to find you. They're not going to, no one's going to be like, hey, big, because you probably have, someone calls you big something, big Sam, big Ben, big Greg. That's your white belt name, right? Hey, big, whatever. No one's going to be like, come on around. No one's going to say that. No one, zero. If you are a big boy, they're not. You have to find your smoke. Walk around, put your hand up like, who wants to roll? I want to roll. And find your work. That's another key detail. And don't be afraid to roll and don't be afraid to lose and just lose a lot. You win when you lose. Lose.
I think that's
as Adrian and Rocky was like, win. I'm telling you, lose, go learn, go figure it out.
Right.
That's what the whole ecological approach guy, his whole philosophy is. And to that, he's right. He's right on the go learn from your mistakes. That is correct. But you should also be drilling. You should also be training. You should also be learning the fundamentals and where to put certain pressure in your hip placement and all that. That should all be taught. But when it comes to sparring, sacrifice, go for it. Go for the kill. Try, miss. Now you're on bottom. Now you're learning new stuff.
That's what the training room's for.
Exactly. And the fastest way, Kenny, that you can unlock skills in the training room is at the 8-week mark, you sign up for a local jiu-jitsu tournament. And as soon as you go to that tournament and you fight some guy you've never met before, and you feel the intensity of that round, and whether you lose or win, say you lose, the next day you come back to class and you roll, you'll be like, whoa, this right here is not what I just did this last weekend. That was different. This is practice. This is learning. This is developing. Now I can check my ego a little bit because that was as close to a non-striking fight as there ever is going to be. And now we can develop and we can become the grappler that we want to be by just using technique, by just flowing and learning how to position ourselves and how to breathe. So a lot of people are scared to compete. I assure you, you're not going to disappoint your professors by competing, your white belts. We're just happy that you love jiu-jitsu so much that you want to give it a shot. But competition unlocks freedom in the training room. And that's for any belt. You could be a purple belt that's never competed. I promise you compete one time, you'll be in training. You'll be like, whoa, dude. Now I'm all right. It's different. So I think everybody should compete at every belt.
Yeah. I think kind of touching on a couple of things that you just said, I think mindset and ego, I think are something that you need to quickly, if you go into a jiu-jitsu gym and you think that you're going to smash people your first day as like a zero experience, even if you're like a wrestler and you're like, fuck it, I got some grappling experience. I mean, these guys don't know what they're about to get. Hey, at first they're going to have you rolling with some white belts, maybe some blue belts and whatnot. And let's say you fare decently well against, let's say, the blue belt or something like that. You don't submit him, but you got some dominant, you got a takedown on him, you got some top pressure, things like that. The next guy that comes over to you is going to be a dirty purple or a brown belt, and he's going to fuck you up. And your ego's going to be crushed because you allowed it to come into you to the building to begin with. And then you fed your ego on some less experienced grapplers. And then you got somebody that's far more experienced than you that's going to come over and eat your fucking lunch. And it's going to sting. And it might sting to the point where you just leave the gym and don't come back because now you're embarrassed. Don't do that. None of the guys that are coming over, the mat enforcer that's going to come show you, where you went wrong. That's not exciting for him. He's essentially defending his gym. So
yeah.
Do yourself the favor for the longevity of your game. Don't make that mistake. Don't come in there and try to prove anything because it's not going to go the way that you think it's going to. I promise you that. Go ahead, keep going. Sorry, Kenny. I was going to say that leave the ego at the door. Definitely check your ego at the door. And then as far as just the mindset, really be open to learning, really be open to the fact that you're not going to know anything, really be open to the fact that you may have a Brazilian instructor and understanding them in the beginning is going to be hard. That gets easier. Their English isn't getting any better. I promise you that as well, but your ability to understand them will get better.
Yes.
And you're just have fun. Just have fun with it. And that's one of my favorite things to see is when a new guy starts and after a week, you just kind of talk to him before class, like you're doing some pre-class stretches or whatnot. And you're like, hey man, how's it going? Introduce yourself maybe officially for the first time. How you liking it? Oh, dude, I'm having such a blast. It's that's my favorite. It's that means that you've got a good gym culture and that the gym is making these people feel welcome and warm and comfortable. And you see them getting smashed. I mean, it's not like they're getting the easy end of it or anything like that, but it's just you know that because you remember that feeling. You remember how you felt when you were a white belt. It's almost like a reminder, like, fuck, that's why I'm here. And I think that's something special. So
I mean, I was the king of the spazzy white belt. You looked it up in the dictionary, is a picture of me, helicopter, not all on all the gear, just coming in and just trying to, I wasn't trying to hurt everybody, but I was ragdolling little guys, even blue belts and stuff. I was very successful against blue belts and stuff as a white belt. And that's just pure off size and power and using what God gave me. And I feel like you should use what God gives you. God made you fast, make you fast. He made you big, be real big. You know what I mean? I feel like that is very important. I don't want anybody to avoid what they've been genetically gifted with in jiu-jitsu. I think you should complement that. But you also got to think about being a good teammate. I would go against the mat enforcer and get smoked, obviously. But then I would be like, but I wasn't mad when that happened. Like Kenny said, like if you get upset because you get beat, it's like you brought that on yourself because you were giving lesser opponents tougher rounds. So now that guy had to come do his job. Me, I would go against the mat enforcer. I would lose. But when I left, I would think to myself, like that mat enforcer would be like, that guy's going to be a real, I want higher belts to think about me when I roll with them, when I was a white belt, was that guy's going to be a real problem in a year. Mm-hmm. And if I could get the higher belt to think that was a win for me.
Right.
I wanted every round I rolled with anybody to be like, oh, that kid, hey, you seen that new guy? A new guy, Matt? That guy's fucking strong. I don't want to see what he's going to be like in a year. That was my whole goal as a white belt. I love leaving that impression on people. I lived for that impression on upper belts. But you got to do it respectfully. If you beat a bunch of lower level guys and you're doing it by smashing them, being the biggest guy in a room, and the next thing you know, that black belt or that brown belt or that purple belt enforcer comes in and murks the shit out of you with a tough round, you brought that on yourself. So wear it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna be that guy, plan on receiving what that guy gets.
I think something that we talk about often on the pod. I think it might just be kind of a common expression in jiu-jitsu as a whole at this point, but I never heard it until I think maybe early blue belt days. But sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. I think there's no shame in being the nail. A hammer without a nail is kind of a worthless tool. You need a nail for a hammer to be effective. So there's no shame in getting smashed and just in being the nail. Like sometimes I'll go into the gym and I'm the hammer for like a week and a half straight, and I feel like I'm hitting a new stride, and I'm smashing guys that are my size, and I'm like, maybe I'm not finishing everybody, but I'm just dominant position, outpointing the shit out of them, working towards those submissions, really taking the back, really fighting to get the choke, kind of a thing. And then after like a week and a half, 2 weeks of that, maybe all of a sudden I have like a couple of days of just getting smashed. My timing's off. I feel like my head's like, foggy. Like I can't think it out. I'm wondering, like, dude, for the last 2 weeks, I've beat the shit out of this particular person, and now they just fucking did what I did to them last 2 weeks to me, and I couldn't do shit about it. And it's like, it stings it initially. But then you have to be introspective and look at it like, okay, well, what can I learn from this experience? What did I do wrong? What was different from the last 2 weeks to today? Normally, I try to stand up and start wrestling, and I end up well with some sort of a back take or a takedown or something along those lines, and I end up on top. Today, I pulled guard, and I couldn't get him off of me. So I've got one or two options here. I can either go back to my original game, of which is trying to wrestle and doing what I know I'm decent at. I'm not saying this is a real live example because my wrestling ain't great. Or I can continue to pull guard, be the nail, get smashed, and start working on my sweeps and become better at playing from the bottom. Then you can become undeniable, because then it's not the, oh, well, you're the big guy. You only beat me because you got on top first. Well, it's like, no, I pulled guard and I swept you. And then I ended up on top. And then you couldn't get me off. So, you've got paths that you can take. There's the path of least resistance, where you can just kind of feed your ego and feed into the things that you may be naturally gifted at, or the things that you've just developed over time. And like your game will become one-dimensional if you do that. Or you can force yourself to be the nail sometimes, and you can do the things that you normally suck at, but you force yourself to do those things until you don't suck at them anymore.
Right. At white belt, you're going to be the nail. you want to be the hammer, and there'll be moments where you might be, but you're going to be the nail. So you can either be the nail, or you can be the nail that everybody remembers. And if you're the nail, but remembers for what way? If you're real spazzy and you're really hurting a bunch of people, you're not going to be remembered in the right way, and you're going to get the wrong kind of hammer.
Right.
But if you're just a hard-working white belt who just stays after class, asks questions, becomes hey, when the higher belt's like, hey, can I try this on you? That is a bonus. You're like, dude, okay, they're kind of adopting me. You've been adopted at this point by the upper belts because you're cool.
Right.
If you're the nail, but a nail everybody notices, even noticed by the professor. So yeah, like, but if you're a tough round, like that guy's going to be a problem, but you're safe, that's the fastest way to get your blue belt. Getting known by people, staying after class, not being cliquey. You know what I mean? Like if you're introverted, which a lot of people in jiu-jitsu are, and they just come to jiu-jitsu and they go home and then no one knows who you are. Stay around, helps, clean the mats, socialize, talk about people, ask questions. That's all good. If you're a white belt, there's no problem. If the upper belt turns you down for this, he's a tool. Okay. There is nothing wrong with after class losing to the upper belt that you lost to. After class, after you handshake and you walk out like, hey man, I keep having problems with this. You did this to me? What do I need to do to stop this from happening? That guy should be like, I just do this. What you need to do, he'll give you good feedback. But what you did is you attained a relationship with that guy now. You're not just around for him. When you attain relationships with guys in your class, you start becoming part of the team, and you start becoming the nail people know. And if you're the nail people know, the faster you will grow. And I'm a fucking poet. Look at that. Snap. Oh, dude. That was just off the cuff right there, Kenny. God damn it.
I think we're going to end this segment on that note. I think there's a lot of good information in here for beginners to really kind of absorb and really just kind of think about. We've got 2 more white belt episodes that'll be coming up over the coming weeks. So after each belt segment, I'll create a YouTube playlist of like white belt, white belt, we'll call it, I don't know, not a seminar, but I don't know, white belt topics or something like that. And then we'll make one for blue belt, purple, brown, black, etc. So I think this would be cool. I think it'll be good to be, if you are gaining something from this, and after we do this whole white belt series and we create this playlist, and you come across another white belt that may be having some struggles that you can recognize that you went to, you can guide them to that playlist. Like, hey man, these guys talking about your white belt journey really kind of helped me out in my white belt stage. So like, check out this little white belt playlist. It's probably going to be 3 episodes, so probably 3 hours of the pod if they watch the questions and everything. Or if you don't, if you just watch the white belt sections, it's going to be about probably an hour. And it's an hour of us talking about fucking white belt stuff and strategies and how to think, and just share that with them. So that's all we ask of you. But we got questions, man.
So we got podcast questions. We got questions. What we got?
This is from Amputee Mafia. I feel like he's asked this question in the past. Maybe he missed it, the episode where we answered it. But do you have any?
Part of his brain is missing. No, I'm just joking, dude.
You have any amputees that train? Do you have any amputees that train? Yeah. We talk about them often.
At Amputee Mafia, yes, we have amputees that train in our gym. We have the legendary WallE. WallE is the man. WallE is, unbeknownst to me, when he had his prosthetic on, is like 6'5". I'm like, whoa, dude, who's this giant? He's always, sitting on the mat because he's, missing a limb. But WallE is the man. If WallE could be running this class, you know what I mean? If he didn't freaking get injured. So yeah, WallE is a legend. WallE is a gangster. WallE is one of the coolest dudes you'll ever meet in your life. And yeah, shout out WallE. I love seeing that community stay after jiu-jitsu. I love seeing the handicapped still rolling, because you know what that disproves? That like, you're not dead yet. You freaking still got a mind for battle, a mind for glory. You're not letting some little thing stop you. Every time, and he's so beneficial to the gym. Every time there's like a big injury or someone's like kind of banged up on the corner, and then WallE just rolls in and just gets on the mat and starts training. I'm like, dude, okay, my calf hurts, but look, here's WallE. WallE's out here rolling. I need to get my ass out there. So he's such a blessing for our team. No sleep. He's such a blessing for the team in general. WallE is a gangster. WallE's a legend. So yeah, we do definitely.
WallE's a purple belt.
To train.
WallE's purple belt, and
yeah,
he is about as legit of a purple belt as it gets. It does. You can take the fact that he's missing a part of his arm and a part of his leg completely out of there. That man is about as legit as a fucking purple belt as it gets.
He is, and the best thing anybody can say about somebody in jiu-jitsu, I'll say about WallE. WallE is a fucking problem.
Yeah, he is. Rusty Shackelford, BJJ, what's one thing from the new generation of jiu-jitsu that you have that has you scratching your head?
One thing from the new generation that has me scratching my head. That's a double sit down. It's the double guard pull. It's the double to 50-50. That to me, I hate that. I think it's the worst thing in the sport. I think it's every time you see two people, they're like, oh, geez. You'll see two guys like, yes, it's me. I'm here. I'm going to war. You won't know what's going to happen. Two jiu-jitsu guys. And I'm like, come on, bro. I mean, I just don't know. I like heavy clubbing. I like blast doubles. I like suplexes. I like smashes. I like athletic guard passing. That is what's exciting about jiu-jitsu. The double sit down, it's effective. It is effective. Getting into leg entanglements is effective. I'm not saying it's not. It's you got world-class guys who just finish fights quick and get into the leg entanglement and dominate. But to me, I think it's new. It's new school. It is. The leg fight is new school, leg attacks, and that's usually implemented off a double guard pull. But on that note, one of the coolest things to see is when someone's really low, they're going to double guard pull, and someone throws a flying triangle on them. That's the coolest thing to see. So it does have some kind of sweet parts of it, but especially when you see the guys like walking, they're down, they get up, they down again, they get up, they down again. I'm like, dude, what are we doing, dude? Like,
mine is going to be the guys that invert and then walk backwards upside down on their shoulders towards you. That because they're trying to snatch the heel and fucking go for the ankle. That shit is corny to me. And you'll see it where
inverting it.
Yeah, well, you see the guys will invert. They'll you see it a lot. And obviously, it's a no-gi thing for the most part because they're going for leg locks. But you'll see the guy kind of like walking on his shoulders upside down towards the other guy, and the other guy's just walking around. I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? He looked like some sort of like a creepy Pokemon character.
Yeah. Inverting is cool. But if your butthole's in the air more than 4 seconds, it's pretty gay. Get to it, bro. Invert and get to what you need. Imanari into what you need. If you're just walking on your ass and you're just popping it up, dude, I could find that at the Rhino.
You might not be able to find that at the Rhino. That might be more complex than what the Rhino offers, my man. Big guy jitsu. Do you approve of when guys cover your mouth and nose when rolling and training?
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, it's going to happen in competition.
Can't remember her name right now, but I collabed with a girl. Everybody's seen it. It's got like 1 million views now. That girl, they had her mouth covered, and that girl licked her hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hit me up. She's like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Do you want me to collab with you?" And she's like, "Yes." So I was like, "Okay." And so I collab with her. I think her name's Sarah. I can't remember her name offhand. I'm sorry for that. But she just licked the hand, which is pretty gross, but it was effective. She moved her hand. But yeah, covering the mouth, that's old school wrestling, baby. That cover their mouth, stop their breathing. Like, that's just part of the game. There's a wrist lock there.
Right.
If you wanted to, like, there's stuff that you can do there. But yeah, covering, smothering with the fucking your chest, mother's milking, father's milking. That's all good, dude. It's all good. Dirty jiu-jitsu is good if it's like not gonna injure somebody traumatically.
Mama Bear Hirsch, come visit Street Sports Simi Valley.
Pay us, man. We'll come.
I can't think. Every time I think of Simi Valley, all I think of is Real Bros of Simi Valley.
Well, yeah, Real Bros of Simi Valley. Hell yeah, that was a good show.
Get your boy, dog.
Hell yeah, get your boy, dog. He's like 12 years old, orange belt now.
Oh, really?
That kid. No, I don't know. I'm lying. I don't know. I'm lying, dude. I'm all over the place. Yeah. Simi Valley. Where's Simi Valley? Don't they have a lot of porn in Simi Valley?
I don't know. I know it's like LA-ish.
I think it's like the mecca for the adult industry. Bonjour. I would. Yeah, man, we're down. We're down to make appearances. We just gonna have to like look at. We have real jobs. We have real lives. So like, go to bjjbalance.com, inquire to the emails that are in the links.
This next name, I'm gonna butcher this, and I'm sorry. Jacksock in Holly, JAXOKN HOLLEY. Sorry,
Jackson O'Holly.
Jackson Holly.
Okay.
There's a K in it, which is throwing me off.
All right.
It says how to get faster in a fat guy, moving around and getting subs. Os.
How to get faster being a fat guy. Get smaller, bro. I mean, you got to find your perfect, like, as a big guy myself, there's a weight where I'm like, I'm heavy as shit right now, but I can't breathe. And then there's a weight where I'm like, I'm moving pretty good. And then could even be a weight where you're like, okay, now I'm too light and my deficiency in skills is starting to show because I'm not big enough to do, I used to rely on my weight for certain things. So you got to find that perfect storm. You got to find that middle. And so like, yeah, the more you train, the lighter you will get. And you need to find, obviously, I don't know your dimensions. I don't know your weight right now, but if you lost a little bit, would you still be ultra heavy, but faster? That could be beneficial for you, brother. Like, we all got it. Look at, I ultra heavyweight, big man, smashed, leave the little man laying. I'm all about it. But we also got to think in life, being a big man, your life expectancy is smaller. You're not going to live as long. You're not as healthy. So it is good for us to get into a healthy weight where we can be explosive and still big. You know what I mean? I think 250 pounds is the base weight that every ultra should attain to be. If you're walking around over 3 bills, if you got the 250, you'd be like, dude, I'd be freaking pretty good at 250.
Unless you're like 6'8" or something, you know what I mean? Like,
right. But I still think like 250 is a good benchmark for most bigs to try to acquire to get to.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll never be super heavy or 200 pounds, but I think 250, you can retain strength and you can absorb some more speed that you know that you have. You just can't unlock it yet. So yeah. I think 250 is a healthy 250, weight.
You should not be an ultra.
Then you probably should be. You should not be an ultra heavy. You should be 5'8", 210.
Yeah. Last question we got, Matt. This is from Thick Boy Jiu-Jitsu. It says, hot take, when you're rolling and you start getting into other training partner spaces, the group in the more relaxed position should move and not the lower ranked belt. I think it's BS if I'm in the middle of a triangle setup and I have to stop mid-triangle to move because a brown belt outranks us.
I disagree with thick boy jiu-jitsu. If you're rolling with somebody and even though you're lower ranked and you have a sub locked and you roll into the space of a higher belt, you have to move. That's just the way it works. It's the oldest. I'm traditionalist when it comes to that. It's old school rule. It's old school rules. Their round is more important than your round because they've earned it through injuries, through sweat, through blood, through long drives home of getting beat and not knowing what the fuck happened to them, through paying for instruction, buying gis, buying gear, helping people after class, listening to our podcast, all that kind of stuff. They've paid their dues.
Yeah.
So when they get their time to roll, they've done it longer. They deserve the space. That's just the way it goes. You have the triangle locked, reset, lock the triangle in a safer spot. You usually, like when you reset, when you run out of bounds at a tournament, the ref will reset you right where you were. So just reset to where you were. But like you should not. That's a hot take for sure. But the upper belt should always stay.
That's it for questions, brother.
You thinking what I'm thinking, bro?
Aim for the bushes, my man.
Aim for the bushes. My name is Matt at Host Nation BJJ. Follow us on all our socials. This is Kenny at Freak Party BJJ. Follow us on Instagram, BJJ Balance. We want to get to 7,000 by December. You guys have made that possible. We are growing like a eggplant on a blue pill. Stay after it. We appreciate you all. BJJbalance.com. Go buy yourself a rash guard. Go buy yourself a shirt. Help the podcast out. We want to be irresponsible with this money. So yeah, appreciate all you guys. The Discord is on fire. Follow us there. All that good stuff. Hope this podcast was beneficial for you guys. White belts, stay after it. Stay on the grind. Stay tired and wear your flip-flops. Have a good one. We'll catch you on the next one. Os.